Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Purity. Kindly remember to subscribe to my channel, like, share and comment on my videos. And today we are crocheting a mesh skirt, making it a full set. In my last video I showed you how to crochet this beautiful top, and today we are crocheting this beautiful beach skirt which is mesh, and it has a slit and it has a waistband. And this is how the full set looks. That is the back of the skirt and the front of the skirt. So let's get started with this tutorial. I am using acrylic yarn, and this is thin yarn, meaning I will double my yarn to get the medium weight effect. If you have medium weight yarn, that will be perfect. So I will double my yarn, and I'm using a 4.0 mm hook, a tape measure and a pair of scissors. This is all you need for the project. And as I said, I'm doubling my yarn, and that is how I double my yarn. And to start on this project, you need your hips measurement. So chain as long as your hips measurements is. As for me, my hips measurement is 37 inches and I'm chaining up to 37 inches. Okay, so chain as long as your hips measurement, and I'll meet you once we're done. Done with my chains, and to get a perfect fitting skirt, you'll have to chain as you stretch your work up to your hips measurements. But if you want a baggy skirt, just chain exactly to your hips measurement. So once you're done, you're going to join the beginning to the end and make sure your work is straight so it makes a big circle. And as I said, if you want to have a fitting skirt, you have to stretch your work until it gets to your hips measurements. So we are joining using a slip stitch, and this is how we make the slip stitch. Put the beginning to the end like this, and then join together using a slip stitch. So that's how we do the joining. As I said, we're using a slip stitch, and your work should be round. You should have a big round circle like that. Okay, so once you're done, we are working with the first row. We'll do double crochets. So we'll chain 2, yarn over and go to the first stitch and make a double crochet. That is our first stitch, and you're making a double crochet like that. The second stitch and make a double crochet. So you're going to go in each stitch and make double crochets all round until we finish your work, and I will meet you here when we will be joining. Okay, just do double crochets all round in every stitch, and I'll meet you once you're done with the first row of double crochets. I'm done with my first row of double crochets, and this is how your work should look. And we'll join the beginning to the end. So you'll go on top of that, chain 2 and join using a slip stitch. Go on top there like this and join using a slip stitch like that. Okay, once you're done, you'll chain 4, and this is how your work should look. Chain 4, 3, 4. Okay, and then you'll turn your work, and now we want to begin on the mesh stitch. Yarn over, skip this first stitch here. Let me zoom in so you can see clearly. Skip this first stitch, go to the second stitch and make a double crochet. Once you're done with the double crochet, you'll chain 2 like that. Yarn over, skip this stitch, go to the next one and make a double crochet like that. Once you're done with the double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go to the next one and make a double crochet. Once you complete the double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go to the next one, do a double crochet. Once you're done with the double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go to the next one and make a double crochet, and then chain 2, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go to the next one, make a double crochet, then chain 2. So we are working like that all around until you finish this first row, and I'll meet you at the end of this first row. And this is how your work should look. As you can see, it's making the mesh stitch. Okay, so I am done, and this is how your work should look. This is row 1. Okay, your work should look like this, and we are at the end. So this is the end, and you'll join on top of the chain 4, okay, and finish up with a slip stitch. To begin the next row, you'll chain 4, turn your work. Please always remember to turn your work, yarn over, and we'll go on top of the first double crochet that we did, and that's where we'll put a double crochet. And always remember, after the double crochet, you always chain 2, yarn over, go on top of the next double crochet and do a double crochet. And always remember to chain 2 after the double crochet, yarn over, go on top of the next double crochet, do a double crochet, then chain 2. And that is the second row, and we will work like that all round, and I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I am at the end, and this is how the row looks. And please always remember to join at the top of chain 4 using a slip stitch. At the top here, you remember the chain 4 that we did, you come to the top here like that, here, and you join using a slip stitch. Okay, like that, and always chain 4 to begin a new row. So chain 4 to begin a new row. 3, 4, turn your work, yarn over, and as usual you're going on top of that first double crochet at the top here, and we are doing a double crochet. And to start on a double crochet, please always remember to yarn over first. Once you're done with your first double crochet, always chain two to begin a new double crochet. Okay, I'm hoping this is clear, and we're going to work like that all round until where you want your skirt slit to start, and that's where I'll come in and show you how we put our slit. Okay, so we are working like that all round until we get to where we want to put our slit. Then I will show you how we put the slit. So do that, and I'll meet you once we are putting the front slit. Okay, I'm done, and this is how my skirt looks. I went ahead and did a length of 13 inches. This is 13 inches long, and now we want to start working on our slit. Okay, so remember, you can do a shorter skirt or a longer skirt depending on your preference, but as for me, I wanted my skirt to be 13 inches, then start working on the slit. So this is where we have been joining using a slip stitch at the end, and for this row we will not join. Okay, to start working on your slit, where we have been joining using a slip knot on top of the chain 4, we will not join. Instead, once you get to this last stitch, you'll just chain 4 and turn your work without joining. Okay, that is how we create our slit. Once you chain 4 and turn your work, yarn over and immediately start working on the double crochets on top of the double crochets. Okay, I hope you understand this, and always remember to chain 2 to begin a new double crochet on top of the double crochet. So the only difference is right now there is no joining at the end using a slip knot. Once you come to the end, just chain 4 and turn your work without joining. So I'll meet you at the end of this first row of the slit area. Okay, I'm at the end, and we'll just go in here and make our last double crochet on top of this last stitch here. So we'll go here and make our last mesh stitch, and then finish up by double crochet, and then remember we are not joining at the end here. So go on that last mesh stitch, make a mesh stitch like that. So this is how your work should look. Okay, and now we are not joining. Okay, so once you're done with that last mesh stitch, chain 4 and now turn your work. Okay, remember we are working on the slit area, and continue working with the mesh stitches all round until you get where you want your skirt to reach. My skirt is only, my slit is only 2 inches long, but remember you can make a way longer skirt or a shorter one, and you can always make a longer slit if you want to. So that's how we create the slit area, and I'll meet you once you're done with your work. Okay, that is how the slit area is coming through, and I'll meet you once you're done. And to make sure your slit is straight, this chain 4 that we always begin with, this chain 4 here, we are going to go in there and make our last double crochet just to make sure your slit is straight. So yarn over, chain 2 first, always chain 2 to begin a new mesh. Yarn over, skip these first 2 stitches, go to the 3rd stitch and make a double crochet. That's how we make sure our work is straight. Then you chain 4, turn your work and continue with the mesh stitches. And as I said, to get a straight slit, go to the chain 4, skip the first 2 stitches, and on the 3rd stitch make a last mesh stitch, which is a double crochet. And that's how we make a straight slit. Okay, so do that until where you want your slit to get to, and I'll meet you once you are done. Okay, I am done, and this is how my work looks. For my slit, I did up to 3 inches long. Remember, you can have a longer slit. And now we want to do the ribbing at the slit area and all around our skirt. Okay, to do the edging at the slit area, you will first chain 2, yarn over, and remember we are doing edging all around the slit area, okay, and round the bottom of the skirt. Once you've chained 2, go in the first mesh stitch and do 2 double crochets like that. Okay, now we will work differently in the other chains. First, go in with a single crochet, then 2 double crochets. Okay, I'm hoping you're noting the difference. The first mesh ribbing we did 2 double crochets. The next one we began with 1 single crochets and 2 double crochets, and we are working with 1 single crochets and 2 double crochets in 1 stitch all around the slit area and round the skirt. So that's how we create the edging at the slit area and at the bottom of our skirt, and it'll work like that all round, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I am done, and this is how my work looks. This is the bottom of our skirt and the slit area. The ribbing is so beautiful, and this is how it looks. Once you're done, you'll cut off your yarn, come to the waist area, find the middle part of the waist area, join your yarn, and we will do front post and back post for the ribbing at the waist area. So for now, I begin with the front post. The next stitch will be a back post, and please remember, once you join your yarn, first chain 2 before you start doing the front posts and back posts. So we are alternating between front post and back post at the waist area. Okay, and that's how we do the ribbing at the waist area. Once you're done doing the front post and back post, you'll go ahead and do chains. Just chain a long chain that will go inside the waist ribbing, which will be our waistband. So create a waistband, and for my waistband I did 150 chains, and then we will insert the waistband inside this waist ribbing. But as for now, finish up on the ribbing, which is front post and back post. Then once you're done, you will chain a long band and make the waistband. Okay, So this is how my skirt turned out. I went ahead and put this waistband, and this is how my skirt looks. I'm hoping you enjoyed this simple tutorial, and this is how my skirt and my top looks. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like, share and comment on my videos, and see you in my next project. Have a blessed week and goodbye. I love you all.